50 Cent has always been one of the biggest trolls in the public eye, going to the extent of producing a 4-hour documentary about the dark side of Diddy, or even buying 200 front row tickets to a Ja Rule concert to make it look empty. You definitely don't want to be a target of 50 Cent because he will troll you and continue to troll you until you break. T.I. and 50 Cent started going back and forth on social media very recently, but the beef between these two dates back almost 20 years. In 2007, T.I. was arrested on gun charges and made a deal with the feds to only get sentenced to 1 year in prison. 50 Cent caught wind of this and rapped on his G-Unit song You So Tough, calling him out for snitching. There was tension between the two for years until in 2020, T.I. continued to press 50 to do a versus battle with him where they go song for song to determine who has better music. 50 Cent declined and continued to decline until in 2026, T.I. called him out again for backing out of the versus battle. 50 Cent went on to finally respond by posting a picture making fun of T.I.'s wife and comparing his son to Pepe the Frog. T.I.'s son went on to yell at him in an Instagram post, and T.I. would go on to release 3 diss tracks aimed at 50 Cent. 50 Cent had stopped replying, and the beef is still going on with no summary. It's clear this has become a real feud. 50 Cent trolling Diddy dates way back to when 50 Cent was first coming up. The two were cool with each other when they first met, but it wasn't until 50 Cent dissed him in a song saying he knows who killed Biggie. For years after that, 50 Cent would make hundreds of posts trolling and making fun of Diddy, leading all the way up to 50 Cent releasing an entire documentary exposing Diddy for who he really is. The documentary gave a voice to Diddy's victims and so much more. 50 Cent will forever dislike Diddy, and that's clear after the release of the documentary. The beef between Ja Rule and 50 Cent is definitely the most iconic. It dates back all the way to 1999 when Ja Rule was robbed at gunpoint for his jewelry. 50 claims the beef started because Ja thinks he associates with the guy that robbed him, when Ja claims it was because 50 was snubbed by the Murder Inc. label camp. 50 would go on to release multiple diss tracks aimed at Ja, questioning his street credibility and exposing him for his fake persona, which sent Ja's music career into a downward spiral. The two crews would get into a fight in Atlanta and another fight a year later where 50 Cent was stabbed. The two would continue to diss each other in songs, interviews, and social media posts, and 50 would make hundreds of posts trolling Ja Rule and even buying 200 front row tickets to a Ja Rule concert, making it look empty. It's clear the beef between the two will never end. When The Game came out with his first mixtape, he gained traction fast and caught the attention of Dr. Dre, who signed him to his record label. Dre decided to put him in 50 Cent's label G-Unit and released his debut album, which blew up, debuting at number 1. 50 Cent co-signed him heavily and pushed him as hard as he could, but when The Game would come out to say he's not loyal to G-Unit, and on top of that would become friends with Jadakiss, Nas, and Fat Joe, who were all in deep feuds with 50 Cent, 50 Cent took it as disrespect and announced on Hot 97 that he kicked The Game out of G-Unit. The same day, The Game and his entourage showed up at the station and a shootout occurred, but nothing fatal happened. For years after, the two would go back and forth in interviews and plenty of songs. 50 would claim The Game is ungrateful, while The Game would claim 50 is controlling and jealous. In 2016, the two appeared together and it was clear they squashed the beef, but The Game recently said he was 100% sure they would both die from the conflict. 50 Cent's feud with Rick Ross is a big example as to why you don't want to start beef with 50 Cent. The beef between these two started only because 50 Cent didn't greet Rick Ross at the BET Awards in 2008, which Rick Ross took as disrespect. Rick Ross made the big mistake in dissing 50 Cent in his song Mafia Music, to where 50 Cent went all in and exposed Rick Ross for his previous work as a corrections officer.
I'm deciding to fuck your life up. Rick Ross, I'ma fuck your life up. For fun.
This destroyed his gangster persona, similar to the Ja Rule situation. 50 Cent did take an L because of this feud when he posted explicit images of Rick Ross's baby mother, leading to a lawsuit forcing 50 Cent to pay $7 million to her, forcing him to later file for bankruptcy. To this day, the beef between the two has been non-stop, with the both of them going back and forth on social media, with 50 Cent constantly trolling Ross with hundreds of posts online. Meek Mill is one who has been constantly trolled by 50 Cent online. While Drake and Meek Mill were beefing, 50 Cent commented on it, basically saying Meek Mill lost the beef between the two.
It's like you was picking on somebody in the schoolyard, and you picked them and he thought he was gonna pick on Drake and got the shit slapped out of him.
Meek Mill responded on his song Gave Him Hope, making fun of 50 Cent for going bankrupt and for who he associates with, and they continue to go back and forth on Instagram, but they quickly squashed their beef after Meek Mill revealed they talked it out. Following the beef of Rick Ross and 50 Cent targeted French Montana after he sided with Rick Ross during their feud. 50 went on to mock his low sales, warning him to stay in his own lane, to where French challenged 50 Cent to a sales battle. That never happened. There was tension between the two, but nothing was heard of until in 2019, French Montana bought an old Bugatti claiming it was new, but 50 called him out in an interview saying,
You got an 08. If you buy an 08, man, it's like $700,000. If you put $300,000 down, he's still paying like $50,000 a month. It's a bad investment because there ain't gonna be nowhere for you to get rid of it. Or they was happy to get rid of it to him. Like they found a dummy that wanted to have the name Bugatti in the yard because at an 08, what you want with that?
In 2021, the beef was squashed after French came out to say he loved his TV show and he's a genius in marketing. Floyd Mayweather is one of the more iconic beefs of 50 Cent's, but before the two started feuding, they had a great friendship. 50 Cent would walk Floyd into the ring before boxing and wrestling fights. They launched a film company together, appeared on magazines and commercials together, but when Floyd and Manny Pacquiao were nearing a fight, 50 Cent decided to team up with Manny and launch a boxing promotion company. Floyd would then take to Twitter and call him out for bouncing around and make fun of his declining album sales. The two would go on and continue dissing each other, with Floyd bringing Rick Ross to a weigh-in and go to Twitter to call 50 out again, to where 50 Cent gave us these iconic series of videos.
Floyd said, T.I. Nelly 50. I'm like, what did he say me for? Nelly your first baby mama Melissa, then took your fiance. Say that. This is a special ASLELS challenge for you, Floyd. If you can read one full page of a Harry Potter book, I'll give $750,000 to whatever charitable organization you want to. The bucket of ice, man.
The two would continue to go back and forth on social media for years, and it's been that way till this day, still trolling and calling each other out on social media. The beef between Cameron and 50 Cent was mainly competitive and nothing personal. In 2007, the two appeared on Hot 97, where 50 Cent called Cameron's label Koch Entertainment a graveyard for artists.
You talk about you Koch as a graveyard, you just let your man
It is a graveyard. If you got, listen, let me tell you something. Look, don't act like the general public doesn't know that this is where the artists go after.
After that, they both released tracks calling each other out, but it was nothing serious. The two squashed their little feud, with 50 Cent today even siding with Cameron while he has his own beef with Jim Jones. And speaking of, Jim Jones and 50 Cent was a tension that has been growing for years. In the late 2000s, G-Unit and Dipset were at the top of New York rap groups, with Jim Jones being part of Dipset, and of course, 50 running G-Unit. 50 Cent pulled a power move of performing on stage with Jim Jones amid the beef, later admitting it was only to hinder Cameron and Dipset. It kicked off again when Tekashi 6ix9ine was on trial for his crimes. Jim Jones was named in the case, and 50 of course used it to troll Jim Jones and accuse him of being a federal informant. This year, Jim Jones was trolled again after 50 posted surveillance footage of him trying to get back into his podcast studio after getting evicted and clowning him for the eviction. 50 Cent hated Ja Rule and anyone that associated with him, and Fat Joe was someone that was close to Ja Rule, and that instantly sparked tension between the two. This beef was never public, but Fat Joe would come out to say that they both were on stage during the 2005 MTV Awards show and nearly had a fight. Both 50 and Joe were managed by Chris Lighty, but after he passed away in 2012, they decided to put their tension aside and settle their differences. 50 would later come out to say that the beef was a waste of time, and he really only disliked him because he was associated with Ja Rule's label and crew. A beef that was very surprising was the one between 50 Cent and Young Buck. Buck was a longtime member of G-Unit, with the two creating plenty of songs together and appearing several times on stage together. That all changed in 2008 when 50 Cent wanted to remove Sha Money from G-Unit, who was Buck's manager. Young Buck chose to stick by his manager's side, and 50 didn't appreciate the disloyalty and removed both of them from G-Unit. Buck then came out saying he never earned money from the music and made money only from tours. 50 went on to troll Buck, releasing audio of Young Buck crying and apologizing, and would continue to troll him for his financial and legal troubles. The beef escalated to a legal beef where 50 Cent demanded to pay back the $250,000 he gave to Buck as a loan. This forced Buck to file for bankruptcy, and he agreed to pay back $200 of the $250,000. The two are still not cool with each other, but the tension between the two definitely died down. The beef between 50 Cent and Nas was never extreme, but it started when 50 Cent was supposed to appear on I'm Gonna Be Alright with Jennifer Lopez, which would dramatically boost 50 Cent's career, but at the last second the verse was replaced with Nas. 50 was upset because Nas, who was considered a friend of 50, never informed him about the replacement. On top of that, at the time 50 Cent had a massive beef with Ja Rule and Murder Inc., and while this was going on, Nas was building a relationship with Irv Gotti, who was the CEO of Murder Inc. The two would send shots and disses at each other in multiple songs like Piggy Bank, Don't Bother Yourself, Fully Loaded Clip, and Queens Get the Money, but it was clear they squashed their beef when Nas brought 50 Cent out on Hot 97 Summer Jam, and a few years later they went on to collaborate on Nas's Magic 2 album. But that's only a few of the beefs 50 Cent has seen throughout his entire career, and we have seen publicly. Let me know who else you want to see this done on, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.